So I just scanned my pencil drawing in Photoshop. I scanned it at the highest resolution I was able to with my scanner. So this is 1200 dpi with my HP scanner. And I did it in grayscale, so you don't have to do it at in a color mode, because you only need the outlines. And as you can see on my drawing, so this is the drawing part, not exactly the scanner part, but I have all those overlapping lines here. So you might be tempted to erase them before you scan your drawing. Don't, because these are going to be really helpful when you do your vectorization. So if you have construction lines, if you have ruler lines, if you have overlapping lines like those, keep them. This is going to be really helpful. As you can see here, I saved it as a TIFF file. This is a lossless file format, and I'm going to open this file into Illustrator, and I'm going to show you how to vectorize it in full. So I just opened my TIFF file into Illustrator, and now I'm going to use it as a template for my vectorization. So I'm not going to do it directly on the file. I'm going to create a new document. So you can do new document. I do it with a CMD N, or it's going to be a Control N on PC. I'm going to make a new A4 file. Copy the drawing, paste it, and I'm going to make a template. So double click on the layer, click check template, 30%, and you have your template here with a low opacity that's going to allow us to do a clean vectorization. I'm going to create a new layer. So right here I'm going to have a solid white color. I'm going to take a black color, select my pen tool, and we're going to start. So as we start, you're going to see that we'll have a solid black shape, and we're going to switch that after. So I'm not going to start on a solid on an angle. This is what you might be tempted to do, but this is not a good idea. I strongly suggest that you start on a curve. So don't do something like this, then something like that. It will work, and it can work, but this is not the optimum solution, especially if you're just starting out. So if you want to start the right way, you start on a curve, and you drag a horizontal Bezier handle. So we're going to start like this. So I dragged my point, and so my next point is going to be here. Why here? Because I want to do the minimum points possible. So I do that, and here you can see that there are two problems. My first problem is that the curve here is not matching my line here, so we're going to rectify this. But the second problem is that we have a solid black shape that is blocking the view of the layer, the template layer. So we're going to switch to outline mode. So on a Mac it's CMD Y, and on a PC it's going to be Control Y. So you can see by switching that I only have the outline. So you don't have to do, I see many people do this method. They turn it to outline mode. They use the stroke mode here to have an outline. You don't have to do it. You can stay in a solid color mode, and it's going to be nice, because when you are done with the drawing, you just have to switch, and you can see if the drawing works. You don't have to be like, okay, I am working on outline mode and I switch back to normal mode and I go to fill mode, okay, this is a bit cumbersome. You just want to do outline, fill, outline, fill. This is really easier. So outline mode, and now I'm going to fix this by using the direct selection tool so that there's the white arrow you can see here. I'm selecting my point and I'm going to drag while holding the shift key. I'm dragging the point. Why I'm holding the shift key? Because I want it to stay horizontal. Why I want it to stay horizontal? Because this is a great method that will allow us to have a lot less placement options. And if you have a lot less placement options, you will do less points. And if you do less points, you will have a much cleaner vectorization. The more points you have, the more difficult it is to maintain, and the less smooth your vectorization will be. So I just fixed this one. Now I'm going to fix this one to align it more with my drawing line. Okay, so I can switch back to my pen tool, go back on the point. I haven't released my key, my mouse yet. So I drag my point and I will continue. So here, my next point, instead of doing it here, this could be an interesting option, but I want to do the least amount of point possible. I will do it here. And you can see that this line is going to be very helpful for me to determine how my curve should be. So I drag it like this and then go back with my direct selection to adjust this. And the more you vectorize, the more you will be able to assess the right length for a handle, so you don't have to go back and edit it. But don't be afraid to go back. It's totally okay. So next point is going to be here. Again, as long as I can, I will do only horizontal handles. If you start with vertical handles, that you could totally do that. You could have started here. Try to do only vertical handles. So next point is going to be a little tougher because you can see that there is this curve here and it goes a little back, and I'm not sure I will be able to do my point here and keep all the subtleties, but we're going to try it. So do it like this, and you can see that this could be a bit better here. So let's continue. Yeah, this is not going to be possible like here. So we will need to make a point here. So I'm going to do CMDZ a little less long. Now a new point here. Maybe not this long, and do my next pointer about here. Yes, this is how you can do this curve. And why I wasn't able to do directly is because it goes here and this and there. The curve is going a little in retreat compared to the position of my handle. So next point, and I'm happy that I made my line go until here. You can go until here. So don't go something like here and then draw your shape. It will not look natural. Exceed the line and don't be afraid. This is going to be hidden. So don't be afraid to go a little further. Then I can go here. And then I go back to my horizontal Bezier routine. So here, next point is going to be here. Maybe, oh yes, this is the exact same problem that I met here. So this point is going to be vertical because I need it to be. And then I can go back to my horizontal routine. And if it's not perfect, we're going to adjust it later. This is the big advantage to have the fill mode that is just within reach of a key, because I will be able to control how it looks. So finishing up, yes. I felt that this was a bit long. So yeah, something like this. Don't be afraid to do multiple passes. Now I'm doing a clean work, but we're going to go back on this. It's okay to take time for your vectorization. It's not a race. You really have to take your time. This is really, really important. The more time you take, I'm not saying that like if you take 3 weeks to do a vectorization, it will be better than if you take 1 week. What I'm saying is take the time you need. Don't overdo it. Don't work on it too long, because it has to be done at some point. But vectorization is a long process. Don't rush it because you want to post it on Dribbble. You will really be happy with yourself if you take 1 or 2 days more than what you want to do, because this will allow your vision to rest, and then you go back the next morning and you will see all the flaws. So yeah, really don't go with the idea of vectorizing and shipping right away. Allow yourself to allow your vision to mature for 1 or 2 days. So okay, I traced this point here, and then we are going to arrive at this angle. And if you haven't seen my other tutorial about handling angles with vectorization and hand lettering, you might be tempted to do this and adjust and etc. But this is not a good idea. The better version, the better idea is to go a little further like this. I'm going to fix this a little. Okay, maybe we need another point. I'm going to place another point here. That's going to be an exception because it's not horizontal nor vertical. Okay, but just to illustrate my point, you go a little further and you overlap, do the overlapping path technique like this. And your angle here created by this overlap will be a lot more natural. Okay, so I can adjust a little here. This is not exactly the best option for placing. This can be a little longer. Okay, so as you saw just here, I've placed a point that I didn't drag it. I created it on an existing curve, and sometimes you will need to do that. So don't try to avoid drawing by yourself those kinds of Bezier handles, but you can add a point on an existing curve, just like this one. You create it and you just move it, because sometimes you might need those kinds of adjustments. Okay, so I'm done with my R. We're going to move on with the O. So I'm starting here on a curve, horizontal routine, and then you can see that there is really no option for me to do a horizontal here because there is this very hard angle here. So I'm going to switch to vertical here. Vertical this way, and then as I told you, I might be tempted to do another horizontal here like this. Then I would need to zoom in here to do a better curve. Those curves here are very tough because they are not hard like those ones, but you don't want to do something that's too smooth. So you really have to be precise and put your Bezier exactly on the curve. Okay, so this is nice. I have my other Bezier here, and I'm exceeding, going back, and then I'm going to do my curve here. And here you just have to move this point here to make it fit. Go back with my pen tool, click, drag, release, horizontal, click, drag, release. And then I have this case once again, so I will make my Bezier a little shorter. So as you just saw here, I'm going to zoom in so you can see perfectly what I'm talking about. If your Bezier is not the length that you want, you just click back. You don't release. You click back. You hold Shift. Holding Shift is not. It has nothing to do with creating a new Bezier. If I release Shift, I'm going to be able to do all this kind of things. I want to lock the position. This is why I do this. And you drag, and when the length is good for you, you release. So here I have the feeling that I will need a new point here, then a new point here. So because if I do my point here, the curve is not going to be the way I want. If I do this, you see, this is not going the way I want. So I felt that I needed to do a shorter handle, and this way I'm able to do this and then go here and do this, not a lot. Direct selection tool, drag it here. Don't hesitate to zoom in when you have this kind of intricate details. Go back here, drag my key, and then here I'm going to be able to go back to horizontal. Here I don't care too much because this is going to be hidden. Okay, so this is good. I'm not going to be able to go directly here because it's going to do some kind of a smooth curve like this. So I go back to vertical here until it looks good to me. Make this a tad shorter and then go back to horizontal. So as you can see, try to respect your routine. You start with horizontal, you stick with horizontal, but sometimes you will have those exceptions and you need to be able to recognize when an exception needs to be done. So here it's perfect, it's totally smooth, so I can do my curve exactly the way I want it. Maybe I'm going to need a few adjustments, so you have to play with your Bezier. And here it's a little exception, but you can see that here on my outline, and this is why I love outline mode, you have you can see the progression of the curve, and here you can see that this is totally flat. So this is perfect to place a vertical point. So you add a new point here, exactly on here, and it's going to be perfectly vertical right away, and you drag it like that. And if you go back, you can see that this is really nice. Might need a few adjustments like this, maybe. And maybe we're going to need the exact same thing here. So you find the place where this is perfectly flat. You can see that this is going to the right, then flat, and then back to the left. You click here. You can see that the Bezier is not exactly flat. You adjust it, Shift key, move it, make it a tad shorter, make sure that this is going the way you want. But we're going to fix all the little mistakes afterwards. So moving on to the A, pen tool, click, drag, Shift key, Then my next point is going to be here. So I'm going to drag like this, direct selection tool, white arrow, click, drag, and release. And you have to play with your Bezier until you get the desired result. Don't hesitate to move a point that you think is misplaced. Click, drag, release. Nice. Go back to the pen tool. So I'm going to move on with this one. Okay. Here. And so here you will notice that there is a hole, like in our O, but the hole is not, you might be tempted, and you would be right to do it as its own shape. And I think this is what we're going to do. So instead of doing like click this and go back here, we are going to do this. We're going to make it this way. So there is a tad angle just here, so we're going to mark it like this. Drag this. Okay, go back here. I drag it. Why I drag it every time? Because if I just do it, I'm going to cut my angle, my curve. If I do this, you can see this is not a curve anymore. So I'm going to click, drag, go back here, drag until it's nice. Perfect. Okay, going back here. I'm going to do this one, and then we're going to take care of this hole here. So here we can start here, let's say here. Here we don't care too much about this point. We're going to make it in retreat. You don't have to do the angle technique because we don't see it, so we don't care. Do it here. Drag this one. Maybe I should have done this a curve, so I'm going to do it again. This one. So you can cheat exactly like I'm doing here. This is not a good idea if you're just starting out. If you're starting to be a little experimented with the lettering vectorization, go ahead. It's going to save you a lot of time. So if you feel at ease with drawing freehand a Bezier handle, go ahead. On this point that's going to be hidden, it's not going to have too much consequences, and here you can see that it fits perfectly. So if it can save you time, go ahead. So I'm going to save time. I'm going to do this, but if you're not experimented, I'm going to show you the way. I would do A. Okay, so this was perfect placement. I would do this and then this, okay? But do what feels good to you. Just be aware of the practice that will save you time, but be also aware of how comfortable you are with the tool, and don't try to go too fast if you're not really at ease with all the tools and if you don't know what to do next. Okay, so I've done this, and then I'm going to cut here. So this is exactly what I showed you earlier not to do, but here I'm going to do it because I need it. So I have my curve here, but I cut it on this side, and then I'm going to do a vertical point here because there is an angle here. I'm going to do something like this, and you see that it doesn't fit exactly here, but I don't care because this is going to be hidden. What I want to work is this part, and this is perfect. I'm going to do another vertical here. Same problem as with my O. I'm going to adjust it here like this. Go back here, drag my point, and this looks nice. Okay, so we're going to unzoom now. And we are going to before we move on to the R, we're going to do the hole here. Okay, So you do it as a simple shape. And then when we switch back to fill mode, I'm going to show you how to handle it. So on a curve here, go back here, horizontal. This might be a little long. This will need to be vertical because there is a clear angle. This goes back. This needs to be a tad longer. And go back here and you close the shape. Okay. So moving on to the R. Take my pen tool here, click, drag it like this, and I'm going to go directly at the top of the R because this is a really clean curve that is going to draw itself out. So this is something that you will be able to recognize with experience. The more you do vectorizations, and I really encourage you to vectorize all your drawings because it will be a great exercise. You will recognize when you can go directly at the other extremity of your letter if the curve is going to draw itself out, or if you need intermediate points. This is really something that I can teach you, but you will also learn a lot with experience, and you will see that you will have a lot more instinct. So here, for example, it would be very difficult to place a new horizontal point. So I'm going to switch to vertical. I'm going to put a point here. Of course, I need to do this. So this is not the way I want it. Okay. Click here, drag. Then vertical all the way. Like this. Nice. Okay. Next is going to be vertical here. Like this. This is not okay. Okay, and then I'm going to switch back to horizontal. So I put in a horizontal point here. And there is an angle here, so I'm not going to do like this. I'm going to go a little further here, then back, then here, and the angle is drawing itself out. Dragging this a little. Okay. Going back with my pen tool. Vertical because I have no horizontal options. Like this. Like this. Always try to look if there is not a point that it looks exactly alike. Facing your previous point, this is where you want to go. Okay. This is going to be an opportunity for horizontal. I'm going to drag an horizontal one here. Okay. Then we're going to see how it plays out with this one. I think we can do something nice. Yep. Like this and like that. Perfect. Okay. There is one element remaining. This is this one, and it looks simple and easy, but trust me, something that long is really tough to do sometimes. So don't rush it. This is as important as a letter. A swoosh is, especially if you have dynamic drawings like this, you want your swoosh to be really dynamic and look natural, or it's going to kill the drawing. So same stuff, starting on a curve. And then I'm going to need to do vertical here. Like this. Something like that. Okay. Going back to the pen tool. Okay. I want to mark the curve here. So I'm going to do it anyway. Here, overlapping technique. Like this, like this. And then next point is going to be here. I know this might look a little bit weird, but this is okay. So I'm going to take this point and move it around. Okay, I think I will need another point somewhere here. Like this, moving this. Like this. Okay, and this is going to be a little further. Dragging it. Okay. Okay, this is nice. So I have my point here. Cut it. Back here, overlapping technique. I do my vertical point and I switch back. So as you saw, this is not easy at all because you don't have as much angles as you have with letters. So this is very tough to do a nice swoosh. Sometimes you have to do it all over again. Don't hesitate to do stuff all over again. It's totally okay. So we're done with the vectorizing part, well, the first pass at least, and now we're going to switch back to fill mode, and we're going to first adjust if we have mistakes. Then we're going to see what's remaining to have a final piece that you can ship. So I do CMD-Y, and then I have my drawing. So you can see that you have those little things here that we want to get rid of here, and we have this shape here that we want in white, and maybe we have things that are not exactly the way we want it, but we are going to fix them. So first thing I would do is to visualize my A. I would take this shape here, and first thing I'm going to turn it to white. This is not how I'm going to leave it, but for now, this is how I'm going to be able to visualize the whole drawing without a problem. I mask my templates so I don't have any pencil lines remaining, and I'm going to be able to spot little mistakes and fix them. So I see plenty. I'm going to fix them one by one. First thing I see, and this is a great thing with fill mode, sorry, not shape mode. Fill mode is that you see the whole drawing filled, and so you can see how the volumes work or don't work, for that matter, with each other. So I'm going to select this point and drag it because this needs to be a little thicker. Okay, so the same, this is just my second pass, sorry. And I'm just fixing what doesn't feel right with the eye. So this needs to be a little like this. So this could be vectorizing mistakes or drawing mistakes, because we make mistakes when we draw. And this is okay. We are here to fix them. So this needs to be, yeah, not like that. This needs to be a tad slimmer, and this, no, I didn't need that. Okay, so my R is okay, my A, I don't know, maybe this angle is not the way I want. I don't know. Okay, the O looks okay. This curve doesn't look okay at all. I'm going to go back here and see how to arrange that. Okay, this doesn't look too natural. If I look at it, don't hesitate to zoom in and zoom out just to see how it looks from afar. From up close, maybe make this a little more round here. Don't know. Okay. Okay. This looks nice. This looks okay. So next step, we're going to get rid of all those little things here. So what we're going to do is we're going to select it out. Everything. So I did CMDA. I'm not gonna select the white shape here, so I'm going to hold Shift and click. So I move it out of the selection, and I'm going to use the Pathfinder. The Pathfinder is this tool. And what we're going to do is click on divide, but you have to do it when you are absolutely sure of yourself, because there is no going back. So before you do that, you duplicate your layer like this. Take the layer, you drag it on new layer, and bam, you have a new layer exactly the same as the previous one. You have this one, you rename it backup or save or anything you want. You lock it, you mask it, and this is going to be your backup if you need to go back to the fully editable vectorization. Because once you do this, when you select it up, you select it all, so either CMDA or you click on this little icon here, you remove this part for now, and we're going to, no, actually we're going to keep it in because this is going to be a lot easier. And we're going to click here on the Pathfinder, the divide mode. And what the divide mode is going to do, is going to shatter every little pieces here like it's a puzzle. This is the best comparison I could make. It is going to turn it as if it was a puzzle. So each little piece is going to be independent. So I click here, divide, okay, and it's done. I don't know if you saw anything, but it's done. Okay, I'm going to go hit object, ungroup, so I can edit all the little pieces individually. And here I'm able to select this and remove it. This one, remove it. And you can see that all that's left is little angles here. And they're perfectly defined by the technique that I showed you. This we're going to fill later. And this, you just need to click and remove. And you only have the empty A remaining. Okay, so we're going to take the pen tool, shift to black, fill this. Okay, and you might have a little pieces of white since we've done a divide option. You might have little pieces of white remaining. So what I usually do, I take the magic wand, I select the black like this, CMDX to cut. Especially, we only have this little piece left. It's okay. Remove all the things. You can see that there are all those ghost shapes here. You remove those and you paste it. And I'm going to go back, redraw the little part here. Okay. And then you can select everything and merge. And voila. You're done with your vectorization, and you have a full shape that is, it's still editable. You can edit it, but you can see that it's going to be a lot harder because you have more points now and everything is merged, but you still have your backup here. So this is a good news. And the second thing is that you can totally take that and do anything you want with it. You can turn it into an SVG if you want to use it as a logo for your website. You can export it in a PDF. You can do absolutely everything you want. You can send it to your printer in EPS or PDF format. This is a real vector, and this is perfectly clean. You can do it as an outline like this. So this is perfectly editable, and this is absolutely clean. So we've done a superficial cleanup. I really encourage you to train, and here we've done it in a matter of minutes. But what I really encourage you to do is take a few days. You do your first path, and you don't have to go and clean up right away. You can wait until the next day. And in fact, I encourage you to wait until the next day, because if you do everything on the same day, you're going to get bored and you're going to rush it. And if you rush it, it's not going to be the same quality. If you wait until the next day, you're going to be happy to do it. You're going to be impatient to do it, and you will be happy to go back to work, and you will have fresh eyes, and you'll be able to spot much more mistakes, much more flaws than if you were doing it just after the first pass. So really take the time. 2-3 days is okay, so don't do it at the last minute if you need it for a project. But really, the vectorization process is as important as the pencil drawing phase. So if you take time, if you're used to take time for your drawing, your pencil drawing session, think of the vectorization process as 50% of your whole process. It's as important as the pencil process. I'm really happy that I've showed you the vectorization of this particular piece. Why? Because I've just launched a new landing page. You can see at sarahdayan.com/roar, because I wrote a whole story about this piece that is going to be my first product. This is going to be the first print I will sell on my shop. You'll be able to buy it as a beautiful, incredible, I have those just next to me, so I can tell you this is incredible silk screen print. It's going to be a 10 inches by 10 inches. It's incredible, and I really want to share the story with you. So go at sarahdayan.com/roar, read the story, subscribe to the newsletter. I have so many things, so many exclusive things that I want to share with you. So stay tuned and see you next week.